You know what's strange about mistakes? Most of them disappear with time. You burn dinner, you order takeout. You miss a workout, you go tomorrow. You forget someone's birthday, you apologize and move on. Life gives you second chances constantly, but there's a specific category of decisions that operate under completely different rules. These choices don't fade, they don't reset, they compound. And the worst part is that when you're making them, they feel insignificant. They feel reversible. They feel like something you can deal with later. Except later never comes the way you think it will. Today we're talking about the decisions that don't just affect your next week or next year. We're talking about the ones that quietly rewrite the entire trajectory of your financial future. And by the time you realize what's happened, the damage is already baked into every month you'll live from that point forward. Let's start with something that sounds completely harmless. You're 22 years old. You just started your first real job. The pay isn't amazing, but it's more money than you've ever had access to before. You're excited. You want to enjoy it. So when the credit card offers start arriving in the mail, you think, why not? Everyone has credit cards. It's normal. You're not planning to go crazy with it. You just want a little flexibility, a little breathing room. Maybe you put a few dinners on it. Maybe you buy some clothes you've been wanting. Maybe you book a weekend trip because you deserve to celebrate landing this job. And here's the thing. None of those purchases feel reckless in the moment. You're not buying a yacht. You're just living. But what you don't realize is that you've just made a choice that's going to follow you for decades. Because here's what actually happens. That credit card balance doesn't stay small. It grows. Not because you're irresponsible necessarily, but because life happens. Your car needs repairs. Your laptop dies. You have an unexpected medical bill. And instead of having savings to cover these things, you have debt. So you put the new emergency on the card too. And now you're not just paying for last month's dinners. You're paying interest on last month's dinners while also paying for this month's survival. The minimum payment seems manageable, so you keep going. You tell yourself you'll pay it off soon. But soon never comes because your income isn't increasing as fast as your expenses. And every month a chunk of your paycheck vanishes into interest payments before you even get to touch it. Fast forward 5 years. You're still at it. Maybe you've paid off some of the original balance, but you've added new charges. Maybe you've opened a second card to help manage the first one. Maybe you've consolidated the debt with a personal loan that promised to make things easier, but really just shifted the problem to a different statement. And now you're looking at buying a house or starting a business or making some other major financial move, and you realize your credit score is trashed. Your debt-to-income ratio is terrible. You're locked out of opportunities that people with clean financial histories can access easily. And all of this started with a decision that felt completely normal when you were 22. That's the brutal mathematics of financial choices that compound negatively. They don't punish you once. They punish you continuously. Or consider another scenario that plays out millions of times every single day. You're choosing a career path. You have two options in front of you. Option 1 pays well right out of the gate. It's stable. It's respectable. Your family approves. The starting salary is enough to afford a nice apartment and a decent car. Option 2 pays almost nothing at first. It requires years of grinding. It's uncertain. It's risky. But it's the thing you actually care about. It's the field you're genuinely passionate about. And here's where the fork in the road appears. Most people take option 1, not because they love it, but because it makes sense. It's the responsible choice. It's what smart people do. They tell themselves they'll pursue their passion later, once they've built up some savings, once they've established themselves, once the timing is better. But here's the problem with that logic. Once you step onto the treadmill of a career you don't care about, getting off becomes exponentially harder. You get used to the salary. You build a lifestyle around it. You take on financial commitments that require that income level. You buy the house. You finance the car. You get married. You have kids. And suddenly the idea of taking a pay cut to chase your actual dreams isn't just scary, it's impossible. You have obligations. You have people depending on you. You can't just walk away. So you stay. Year after year. Decade after decade. You become good at something you never wanted to do. You climb a ladder that's leaning against the wrong building. And 40 years later, you retire with a decent pension and a deep sense of regret because you spent your entire adult life doing work that never mattered to you. That choice you made at 25 to take the safe job instead of the meaningful one didn't just affect that year. It determined how you would spend the majority of your waking hours for the rest of your life. Now let's talk about relationships, because this is where the forever consequences get even more intense. You meet someone, they're attractive, they're fun, the chemistry is there. But if you're honest with yourself, you notice some things that bother you. Maybe they handle money irresponsibly. Maybe they have a temper. Maybe they're not as ambitious as you are. Maybe they don't share your values around family or integrity or personal growth. But you ignore these signals because everything else feels good. You think people change. You think love conquers all. You think you're overthinking it. So you move forward. You get serious. You move in together. You get engaged. You get married. And for a while maybe it works. Maybe the good outweighs the bad. But those early warning signs you ignored, they don't disappear. They amplify. The person who was careless with money before marriage becomes the spouse who runs up secret credit cards after marriage. The person with the temper becomes the partner who makes your home feel unsafe. The person without ambition becomes the anchor that holds you back from opportunities. And now you're not just dating someone incompatible. You're legally and financially bound to them. You share assets. You share debt. You might share children. And untangling your life from theirs isn't just emotionally devastating. It's financially catastrophic. Divorce costs tens of thousands of dollars. It splits your net worth in half. It derails your retirement planning. It affects your kids if you have them. All because you made a choice early on to ignore red flags that seemed small at the time. You told yourself it wasn't a big deal. But it was the biggest deal. Because choosing your life partner isn't a decision you make once. It's a decision you live with every single day until one of you dies. Here's another one that destroys people slowly. You decide to go to college. Nothing wrong with that in theory. Education can be valuable. But you don't just go to any college. You go to the expensive one, the prestigious one, the one with the beautiful campus and the famous professors and the alumni network everyone talks about. You take out student loans to cover it because that's what everyone does, right? Invest in yourself. Education is the best investment. You'll make it back later. Except you graduate with $80,000 in debt and a degree in something that doesn't lead to a clear career path. Or maybe it does lead somewhere, but the starting salaries in that field are $40,000 a year. And now you're doing math that doesn't work. You're paying $1,000 a month in loan payments on a salary that barely covers rent and groceries. You can't save. You can't invest. You can't take career risks because you desperately need every paycheck just to stay afloat. And this isn't a 2-year problem. This is a 20-year problem, maybe longer. Those loans follow you through your 20s, through your 30s, through the years when you should be building wealth. You're digging out of a hole. Your friends who went to state schools or learned trades or started businesses are buying houses and investing and building net worth while you're still paying off a decision you made when you were 18 years old. An 18-year-old who had no real understanding of compound interest or opportunity cost or what it actually means to be in debt for decades. But nobody stopped you. Everyone encouraged you. And now you're paying for it. Forever. The pattern here is obvious once you see it. The decisions that haunt you aren't usually the ones that feel dangerous. They're the ones that feel normal. They're the ones everyone else is making. They're the ones that society tells you are smart, responsible, expected. Going to college. Getting credit cards. Taking the stable job. Marrying the person you're with even though you have doubts. These are considered adult decisions, mature decisions. But if you make them without truly understanding the long-term implications, they become traps. And the worst part is that these traps are designed to be invisible. You don't feel trapped on day one. You feel trapped 10 years later when you finally understand what you've signed up for. So what's the alternative? How do you avoid making choices that will haunt you forever? The answer is uncomfortable but simple. You have to think in decades, not days. You have to ask yourself not just how this decision will affect you next month, but how it will affect you in 10 years, in 20 years, in 40 years. You have to be willing to endure short-term discomfort to avoid long-term suffering. That means saying no to debt even when everyone around you is saying yes. That means choosing the lower-paying job that actually aligns with your skills and interests instead of the higher-paying job that will slowly kill your soul. That means walking away from relationships that look good on paper but feel wrong in your gut. That means going to the affordable school instead of the dream school if the dream school requires mortgaging your future. None of this is easy. In fact, it's brutally hard, because making the smart long-term choice often means looking foolish in the short term. It means driving a worse car than your peers. It means living in a smaller apartment. It means telling people you're not doing what they expected you to do. It means disappointing others to protect yourself. But here's the truth that nobody wants to say out loud. The people judging your choices today won't be there to help you deal with the consequences tomorrow. They won't pay your debt. They won't fund your retirement. They won't give you back the years you spent in a career you hated. You will face those consequences alone. So you might as well make decisions that serve your future self, even if they confuse or disappoint everyone else. The most valuable skill you can develop in life isn't intelligence or charisma or talent. It's the ability to delay gratification. It's the ability to choose long-term success over short-term comfort. It's the ability to see past the immediate appeal of a decision and understand its full life cycle. Because the choices that feel best today are often the ones that cost you the most tomorrow. And the choices that feel hard today are often the ones that liberate you later. This isn't about being paranoid or pessimistic. It's about being honest. It's about recognizing that some decisions don't give you a second chance. They set a trajectory, and once you're on it, changing direction requires massive effort and sacrifice. Sometimes it's possible. Often it's not. If you take nothing else from this, take this. Before you make any significant decision involving money, career, relationships, or education, force yourself to imagine your life 10 years from now if you say yes. Then imagine your life 10 years from now if you say no. Be brutally honest about both scenarios. Don't sugarcoat. Don't assume things will magically work out. Look at the actual math. Look at the actual time commitment. Look at the actual opportunity cost. And then choose the path that your future self will thank you for. Not the path that feels good right now. Not the path that everyone else is taking. The path that leads somewhere you actually want to be. You only get one life, one timeline, one series of choices that build on top of each other until they become your story. Some of those choices will fade into irrelevance, but some of them will echo forever. Make sure the ones that echo are the ones you can live with. If this video made you think differently about the decisions in front of you right now, do me a favor. Hit the like button so more people can see this message. Drop a comment and tell me about a choice you made that's still affecting you today, good or bad. And subscribe because we're going to keep having these conversations about the real mechanics of building a life that actually works. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.